Hey there, nature lovers. It is Jackie from Eco Endeavor, and today we are going to prune some fruit trees. I have 2 pears, 3 apple, and 3 plum trees that need to get pruned. So we're going to do that. That's what today's video is going to be about, and hopefully we don't make any mistakes. I've done a bit of research. I feel like I know what I'm doing, so let's go see what these trees look like. So some really important things to remember when you're pruning is that you are pruning, if you make a thinning cut and you're taking off a whole branch right at the collar, then that will not grow back. You have just decided that limb is no longer there. It will not come back. When you do make those cuts, you don't want to cut off like below the collar. So this is the collar here. In general, you don't want it to be right on the trunk. You want to leave that collar there. If you are trimming on the branch and you cut off the lateral tip or the lateral bud, that bud will not continue to grow straight anymore. Wherever you cut, those next buds will begin to shoot out. Here's an example of where I have pruned off the terminal buds. So I don't really want this branch to get much longer. Same with this one. I don't want it to get any taller, and I don't want this one to get any longer. What I want to encourage is lateral branching. So by cutting off the terminal buds, tips up here on this one, and on this one, all of these buds below it will start to grow, and this one will probably end up being the leader, which means it'll be growing out this way. So when you make those terminal bud cuts, you got to look at the bud below and decide which way direction you want it to be growing in. Like I wouldn't have pruned to here, because then this would be growing in towards the tree, and you want to keep the inside open for airflow and whatnot. Like I could prune off this one because it's growing in towards the tree, and you don't want them growing in, you want them growing out, but it can stay for now, and that one will be a good one to grow out. Cutting the tip of a branch off is good to encourage lateral sprouting or lateral growth of those little branches, and those are generally where the fruiting happens, is on those lateral branches. So you do want to cut off some of those really long branches that are not starting to grow side shoots. When you are selecting which of your branches from the trunk to thin out, you want to look for the branches that have a 45-degree angle. Those are going to be the strongest ones that are going to give you your best bang for your buck, that they're going to be able to hold on to the weight of all of the fruit that will eventually be on that branch. So those are the ones that you want to select for. Another thing to remember is that you're wanting to prune to a central leader. The apples and the pears can be pruned to more kind of like a V shape, but I just want a central leader, and I just thin them so that they only have a central leader, and then that is the main stem of the tree, and that's a way to prune your trees, is for that central leader. The first tree we're going to be pruning is my Shiro Plum tree. Now this plum I pruned last year, and its response was to put up like a whole bunch of water shoots, so it has just been growing like crazy, and it needs to be tamed because it's already too tall for me to be able to get any plums from. I don't have any plums from it yet, but maybe I will this year. Who knows? Who knows what these trees are going to do. Pruning is a growth stimulant, so you will have excessive growth from your pruning, and that's what happened to my Shiro Plum. Is last year when I pruned it, its response was up a whole bunch of water sprouts as well as suckers from the base. It was a very funny looking tree last year. Most important thing to remember when you are pruning your plum trees and apricots and what's the other one, peaches, is they fruit on these little spurs here. You definitely do not want to cut off these. And I actually made this mistake last year. I was like, oh, I don't want all these little branches. This one is going to be a fruiting branch. This one might not be, because you can tell just the difference of what it looks like. These have little clusters where your flowers are going to come here. This one is growing out. It's probably going to be more of a lateral branch with just leaves. But wait until you can determine that before you cut it off, because you don't want to cut off your fruiting spurs from your tree, okay? Another one that I know for sure that I want to take off is this one here. It's not growing as nicely as I want it to, plus I just think it's not quite, well, it's sort of 45-degree angle, but anyways, we're taking that one off. Okay, so this branch here is not at a 45-degree angle, which means it's not the best. It could get water in there, but I'm kind of attached to it, so I'm going to give it a chance for a little while, and I'm going to cut it here to give this branch a chance to go that way. Again, you can always change your mind later if you decide you want to do something different. I was originally going to leave this branch because I liked all the lateral branching that was happening off of it, but then I just decided, you know what, let's just cut it now because it is not in, like, it's not growing at a good angle, and then this one is growing at a good angle, so then it can put all the energy into this lateral branch here, and it already has some side budding on it too, or side branching, so that is a good sign. Now I have a problem with my leader here being very tall, and it's split into two, and like these whips, like look at how tall this one is. It just goes way up there. So I'm really worried about this tree because it's getting too tall for me. It's growing these crazy whips. This is the central leader, which is a nice, beautiful, strong leader, but it has split into two kind of leaders here. And ideally you want your secondary branches to only be like a third of the size of this main trunk, which this one's a little skinny, but what I'm gonna do is cut it here to top it because I feel like it's kind of getting tall enough already. It makes me a little nervous to do this. Hopefully I'm not killing my fruit tree. I think it's gonna be okay though. We're gonna cut it here, but to help get off some of this weight, I'm just gonna take off some of these little, I think I need to sharpen my pruners a little bit too. Like, look at these crazy whips. Woo! So this is just to give me some more confidence to make that big cut. Take off some of these, like, look at this whip. Those ones off. That one off. Okay. We're gonna make the good cut soon, I promise. That's where we're going. 45-degree angle. In there. Oh, hopefully. Oh, I feel so bad. My poor little plum tree. I'm sorry. Please survive. Okay, that was a little painful to cut off the top of my tree. So I really hope that it's going to be fine. There is a few other little things that I wouldn't mind pruning up on it as still, but because I've cut off so much of the tree, ideally you don't want to cut more than like a third of the tree. So I want to give it time to recover. I want to see what's going to happen with it. And yeah, hopefully I did not kill my Shiro Plum tree. Second plum tree is a Satsuma dwarf rootstock plum. I should have pruned it when I planted it. This is only one, I just planted it last spring. I should have really pruned one of these off because this should be my central leader here. So today I'm going to cut this one off, and I kind of think that might be what I leave on it for now, just because I don't want to give it too much shock. It is still establishing itself. I definitely I like these ones here, good branches. That's a good branch. That's a good branch. Like, it's got some nice, this one could be a bit bigger, but yeah, I'm just going to take that one off for now. Never mind, I changed my mind. I'm also going to take this one off. Oh. This apple tree is my favorite because it is growing just beautifully. It's got like such a nice leader coming up, central leader here. All of the side branches are at the good 45-degree angle. Take that one off there. So I ended up doing another cut here. I did cut off that one over there. I switched back to these because I did not sharpen my other pruners, and you should always have sharp pruners. So this little apple tree has just been struggling. I planted it at the same time as all the other trees, and it is the smallest. I'm going to take off this. I'm going to cut off this one as well, just because it is super low to the ground. It was kind of getting in the way of like my strawberries underneath here. Now this one, I wish it was at a better angle, but it's not, and I don't want to cut it off completely. So what I'm going to do is cut it about, like, choose a bud that I like, probably this one, to grow out, and I'm going to cut it here so that this one can go out that way. And then hopefully some of these other ones will continue to grow. Like, it would be nice if they would turn into bigger branches, because it is just kind of a tall straight whip right now. It's hard to know. Does it want to be should this be the central leader, or should this be the central leader? Sometimes you just got to make these decisions and hope for the best. Okay, I've made the decision. Hopefully it's the right one. Because this is the central leader and it has like forked again here, I think this is the one that's growing the straightest. So I'm gonna make this the central leader and cut off this one, even though I like all these little stubbies on the side, because these are potentially good little branches. But I think by putting all, like, this one will then take over. So that's the hope here. And we shall see if we are successful in that. Closer. This is my Flemish Beauty pear. This is the only fruit tree that I actually got pears from last year, like fruit from. I got 5 whole pears. They were delicious. I am like super nervous to prune this one because I will cry if I don't get fruit from this tree, if I screw it up. I remember the fruit being around here, this kind of area, on these smaller little spurs here. Pears fruit on 2nd to 3rd year old wood. I want this branch to grow out here and not necessarily up and compete with the central leader. I'm gonna cut it here, and I could cut this one like here and let this kind of go out, and I could also trim off some of those. But this is my baby. I want to see how she grows. Can always prune more of it next year. She's little. We don't want to shock her too much because I want pears again. So this is the only cut I'm gonna do, is right here. Thank you, little Flemish pear. Please give me pears again. I think I'm gonna get 8 pears this year. Yeah. We're getting a little cold, but we're down to our last 2 pear trees. This is the central leader, which is kind of growing not quite straight anymore, but out, which is fine. I don't care. This one, you know, is growing up this way. I'm gonna take off this, I think, and try to create those branching out that way. This fencing is temporary. Eventually it'll kind of all be open once the house is built and once the orchard has like tripled in size. That's the goal anyways. So we're gonna take off these little guys down here. This little one here. This one I'm gonna leave. I kind of like bent it out of shape a little bit, but that's okay. That one I'm also gonna leave for now. I don't want to take too much off of this tree, but I am gonna take off this and let this be the central leader and the extra little branch. And I could try to stake it up a bit more to like make it a little more straight. That would be nice, but we'll see how it goes. This is my pear that had the mite issue on it, and again, I don't know why I didn't decide on the leader a while ago, because really I should have picked the leader then. I didn't, so I made that mistake. So don't make that mistake, I guess. But you should always pick your leader right away. This should really be the leader, but I'm gonna pick this one because it's thicker, plus it's further away from this branch. I don't want to take off both of them because I think that'll be too much of a shock for this tree, which is also fighting the mites. So yeah, we don't want to hurt them too much, but we will take that one off. When I planted this in 2023, I was a newbie. I didn't quite know what to do, and I was scared that pruning was going to be bad for my trees and not good for my trees. Yeah, so I've made the decision to make this the central leader, and I've cut this one off to give it kind of some more space. So this one will be more like the V-shaped pruning in the end for this pear tree. Make sure you're subscribed to see if my Shiro Plum is going to survive that heading cut, and thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.